Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to part 3 of my very special Bond rankings video. And of course, now that we're done with the Roger Moore era, now we're going to skip ahead to the Brosnan era. And of course, now I know what you're all thinking. Wait, what about the Dalton era? Well, again, at the top of my part 1 review, I was only going to cover the 4 big ones, which was Connery, Moore, Brosnan, and Craig. Unfortunately, like I mentioned, with George Lazenby and Timothy Dalton's time were short. So again, that those rankings would have been just 2 short videos. So why not bother? But like I mentioned, those are most of them would be more middle of the road. But I do want to talk a little bit about Dalton's time in those 2 movies. Was that those were fun, but again, like you can start to see the more darker side of Bond in those movies. And of course, it was hard to pick which one was better than the other, but I felt like both those outings, Timothy Dalton did a good job. I reviewed both of them on my channel before, so go check them out. But now we're going to change gears to the Brosnan era. And of course, for everybody growing up in the 90s, everyone will say this was when Bond was so action-packed. It really made people just so excited to go see a Bond movie again, and that's kind of the truth when it comes to it. And also, some critics kind of chewed out the Brosnan era as this was the more violent ones, which was not something Bond's used to. But then again, Bond needed to change. Okay, this was no longer the cheesy campiness of the 70s. We were done with the stuff of the 80s. Okay, this was now the 90s, and of course, technology had changed. The story, you can tell the story was changing. You can tell the difference in creative direction, especially with GoldenEye. But of course, Brosnan's time was only short. He only did 4 movies. He was supposed to do a 5th one, but he declined after the abysmal failure that was Die Another Day. But of course, more about that as we're going to get into it. So this ranking video is probably going to be short. Okay, so let's dive into it. Okay, 4 videos. Where do these Brosnan rankings stand up? And are they still worth watching today? Well, I will tell you in just a moment. So, obviously, there's no honorable mentions, but we're going to start off my ranking list with the number 4 spot, which will be Die Another Day. Yes. Okay. Now, I'm going to admit something. Okay. I was part of this generation where I've seen them all. In fact, this was the first Bond film that I ever saw in theaters. Okay, which shows you my age. Okay. I mean, I could have seen The World's Not Enough, but unfortunately, fate had a different plan. Again, that's a story for another time, another place. I remember seeing Die Another Day in theaters. I was super blown away with the visuals, the story, the jokes, and just the all-around cool stunt work. But looking back on it a couple years later, you realize, wow, there's something that really did not gel, and of course that was, the visual unrealistic nature of a few of those 2 stunts, and one of them is Bond windsurfing in the ice, which of course I was like, that could that was not possible for them to pull that off. And also, it was laughably bad that looking back on it, you could tell this was super green screen, blue screen, whatever, because it was that bad. I mean, considering what you saw him do, like, you knew that this was that just took you out of it and it's making you go, what the hell? But I will admit, the villain kind of cool, but I felt like a little cliche at times. I think I did talk a little bit about this movie on my channel some time ago. It is part of my Action Sunday vlogs. Okay, so want more about that? You can go check that out. But I will say, Halle Berry's iconic bikini was actually a callback to Honey Rider back in Dr. No. Okay, if anybody picked up on that. But again, there's some little intricate things that I do like about this movie. The song by Madonna, kind of like and hate at times, because I felt like it's catchy, but after a while you're like, it just hurts on yours. That auto tune really fucking kills you. Just saying. All right. So without all these intricacies, that's why it's low on my list. Now coming in at 3, actually in 3 in the 2 spots, it's a toss up because I couldn't pick one more than the other, and it's going to be Die Another Day and The World's Not Enough. So again, I couldn't figure out which ones would be more than the other. But of course, on a good day, I would probably prefer Tomorrow Never Dies over The World's Not Enough. But then again, both these movies have some trade-offs, okay? One movie will have an epic car chase stunt. Another one won't have an epic car chase stunt. One will have a very good, strong Bond girl, and the other will have the worst. If you know who I'm talking about, guys, for any Bond purist diehard fans out there, you all know who I'm fucking talking about. All right, so yeah. But I will admit, I did like the villain Renard in The World Is Not Enough more than the villain in Die Another Day, even though like Jonathan Pryce's performance was just stole the show. But again, that's just my personal preference. So yeah, it's like pick and choose. You gotta get a terrorist that knows Bond in and out, like messes with his head, or you got a guy that's essentially trying to control the mainstream media, aka today's bullshit that you just want to throw your head against the wall kind of thing. But then again, I love how both these villains meet their demise. It's either you watch a guy getting killed in a nuclear reactor aboard a sub, or one gets shot to bits by his own machine. So it's a good trade off kind of thing. But yeah, it's hard to pick. I love Waylon or Waylon, where her name is, played by Michelle Yeoh. To me, she was one of the better Bond girls I've ever seen across any movie. Okay, Brosnan era or not. Okay, very good stuff. All right, just saying. All right, and coming in at the number one spot, it's plainly obvious. It's GoldenEye. Come on, people. You all know this. I talked about this at length, okay? In fact, feels like just yesterday that I did review this movie, okay? What can I say about when it comes to the GoldenEye movie, okay? It is peak everything. This is the movie that introduced us to Pierce Brosnan, the Brosnan era kicking off. You had all these great things, the great gadgets, the story. Everything was there, and they had a great formidable villain and a shock twist, which left everyone on edge. To me, that's what made GoldenEye a damn near perfect Bond movie for everyone, and of course one that has since been etched into pop culture, and one that has since spawned one of the most popular games for a popular system at the time, and yeah, I could probably keep going on and on about it, but yeah, okay. I played that. I played the Reloaded one. So many good stuff, and of course, speaking of video games, I was opted to include Everything or Nothing, which was a very cool project or video game that was made specifically for, I think it was for the PlayStation and the GameCube, where like the story and the cast, they usually use the actual voice actors' likenesses as part of it. They used Pierce Brosnan, they used Willem Dafoe, and the late Richard Kiel, he was in it. They brought back Jaws and that. So again, a little side note, to me, that felt like it could have been a fifth Brosnan movie. So if anybody knows what game I'm talking about, please, I encourage you, find the game, pick it up. You will not be disappointed. Okay, but then again, if you're a gamer, Bond gamer, I think you would enjoy it. All right, and of course between that and Nightfire, again, more stuff that I'm getting off track with, but overall, again, like I mentioned, that movie just made you say this is definitely the most awesome Bond. Okay, action packed or not, okay, you can disagree with me or agree with me, but that is my opinion for one of the best Bond movies of the Brosnan era. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna leave at. So yeah, give all these movies a watch. Okay, I encourage you guys to look into those Bond games, and yeah, I want to hear your thoughts about that. So thumbs up the video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for part 4 as we go into the J.L. Craig era. Take care, everybody.